So I wanted to do a podcast and to talk about what is really going on right now in the collective, the energies with Earth, with our bodies, with our relationships, and what we see in the greater collective as well. And we are going through the most pivotal point in our lives and as humanity. And the way to look at things, and sometimes it's easier to understand what's going on in your own life sometimes when we look at the bigger picture, when we realize that the collective is the millions of souls magnified, basically. So, our nervous systems are going through something hugely fundamental. We are having to shift from patterns of fear, survival, separation, and the illusions of that, and to really start to move into love, into unity, into thriving, and is what we are, who we truly, truly are as souls. And I show this in terms of when you look at what created us, all of us, every single person, every single being, is this spark of light. As the ovum chooses the sperm through frequency, it's not survival of the fittest, it's not the strongest sperm, it's the ovum choosing through resonance what to allow into her field. And it's that wisdom that carries through that ovum, that goes through our grandmothers. And there's this spark of light. And it's this light and the frequency of that light that just becomes as a pulse initially before any more cells are created and before they're divided and multiplied. And that is consciousness. That is the spark of life that's still within us and what's created us, that miracle. And it's in every single one of us. And as much as we see our bodies as separate and each other separate through colour, through sex, through race, we are still one. And we hurt one another, others are hurting, we feel it. And that's coming on pretty live right now. Everything that is going on is about breaking us out of the illusions, out of the belief of being separate, and the fear, and how fear is so ingrained in our systems, in our infrastructures, in our governance, in religion, in our bodies, in our DNA. And it isn't our truth, though, you see. For our truth actually is love, joy, and peace, that spark of light that created us. Yet we have morphed into systems and beliefs of fear and separation. And so what we are going through now as a collective, individually, is realizing our fear patterns, our survival patterns, and they run exceptionally deep. And we'll see it and so we're seeing it like with war going on right now. Literally, things are being blown up. Our nervous system will be feeling like it's being blown up right now. It will be feeling completely dysregulated if we're not doing this work of understanding ourselves on a deeper level. And things will be coming up for the surface to be dealt with. We can no longer avoid things. And I'm speaking from experience here. This isn't me sitting on a pedestal telling you I'm doing it all great. I have a great self-awareness, which helps. But our brains are very good at avoidance. And so I will link this to trauma. Trauma is one form that creates survival patterns in our body. If we've experienced it, we'll especially be able to connect to this. But also we've got to recognize the trauma that goes through the generational lines, especially the feminine line, the mitochondria, the DNA that actually expresses our DNA. And so the trauma that women have experienced runs through our blood, our DNA, our bones. And so we are generationally breaking huge patterns here as well. And I appreciate I may be jumping backwards and forwards a little bit of where I'm going with this. So bear with me. So we'll have these generational patterns that are sitting very deep within us, in our mitochondria, which I see for women, especially their menstrual health and their hormones. For men, I see it's quite a bit more of an immune thing, and with their gut, that tends to flare up for men. And especially if there isn't as many women in their family, so the men take the brunt if they're, like, say, the single male. It'd be coming through that way, whereas a lot of it comes through the generational for women. And when women hit their menopause, this is when things start to awaken for us, but we'll often see that the body is feeling like it's working against us, shall we say, but it's not. It's not another curse of being a woman. It's actually a gift if we can become more conscious of it and understand what our body is trying to tell us. So not only do we have through the veil of estrogen seems to drop, often we will think things like ADHD can well be PTSD coming up for us to be dealing with. So avoidance will be coming through in many different levels. So I'm talking about trauma. What we generally do to cope, to survive, is come out of our bodies. We come away from where that discomfort is, wherever that may be. It's a coping mechanism. It's what we all do. And so what happens from my perspective, from a bodywork therapist, is when we become disconnected or out of our body, the body will create pain and disease to call us back in. Now, it's never trying to harm us, our bodies. Our bodies love us, okay? So the part that is trying to reconnect to us isn't the trauma, it's the parts of self that we've disconnected from. It's that 16-year-old, that 13-year-old, that 8-year-old, that the younger little you wanting love, wanting to be heard, to be valued, to feel unconditional love and support and to be held. And to avoid our healing work, and I say healing isn't about fixing, it's about releasing the survival patterns, the conditioning, the ways of being, protecting ourselves. But actually, deep within us, we're already whole. We're already perfect just as we are. And we're love and joy and peace. And all of the patterning is the healing, releasing us from that. And so being in our bodies is the fundamental part of our journeys. There's only so far we can go in our heads. And for everything that we've going since COVID is heart awakening. And we may be thinking, well, how is there a heart awakening when there's so much anger and fear in the world? Well, for that to exist, so does love. So for the positive to exist, so does the negative. The only problem is that we have a lot of media and things that just only want to show us the negative and therefore feed it, so we continue on the cycle of fear and keep creating it, because the powers that be actually appreciate and know how powerful we are as individuals and as a collective of individuals. So actually, when we come to unite with power, love, and unity, and for the greater good for all, we become a huge, unstoppable force. And as I say, we're at that tipping point right now. We're as to whether we choose love or fear. Are we choosing the illusion or do we choose truth? And so many things are all coming up to the surface to be seen. And the point of avoidance is also the illusions that we tell ourselves. We don't quite tell ourselves the truth. And the avoidance of being in this world at times. So for those that feel quite empathic and sensitive to things, people have experienced trauma, we generally will often create avoidance tactics to not quite necessarily be what we feel present. And by doing that, we are often seen as spiritual bypassing. So we'll connect into this beautiful light and feel good in it, but we won't necessarily want to come back from it. And so we think we're doing a lot of work through the spiritual work, but unless we're truly embodying it, we're not actually earthing it. And this is what we are here to do, actually. We are here to bring what I would say heaven on earth. We're here to remember. We're here to bring this power into our bodies and bring it up, literally earth up. This is the two stars, the triangles that create the Merkaba. You've got the downward triangle, which is the soul, and then the upward, which is earth and the spirit. And it's the merging of those two that creates the Merkaba, the light, body, spirit. And so we are here at this pivotal point to really understand where we are deluding ourselves as well, and to really understand what is reality too. I mean, let's face it, if we are these powerful beings and we can create our own reality, then what are we tuning into? Are we choosing fear? Are we choosing victim energy? Or are we going to choose empowerment? Are we choosing unity? And so our whole nervous system, right down to that, will be reflecting this. And so they will be getting one hell of a shock right now. I've certainly have experienced it in one way. And it's actually calling me to look at myself and go, where am I giving away parts of myself for security? And, have we attached to things for safety or security, but given away our safety? Because a lot of, if you look at, say, for instance, with women in relationships and they stay in them, abusive relationships, and they stay in them because they don't see a way out. Somehow they have attached a security there, but to the detriment of their own safety. And so we have to really start asking ourselves, where are we giving away ourselves? Where are we selling our dreams for security? And money plays part of that. And we are, like I say, we're here to thrive. We're not these miraculous beings just to get stressed, work hard, and die. We're more than this. And we have, since the Industrial Revolution, and probably before then, have become so industrialized as souls, we have forgotten our connection to Earth, her cycles, her seasons, healthy food. We would have lived the land ourselves. We would have created our own food. We would have honored all of that and appreciated our food. We would have had communities. We'd have lived to the light because we wouldn't have had fake light to keep us going. And we would have been much healthier looking after ourselves. And we have become so disconnected from Earth. Even if you think about us walking around, we are literally always on some form of membrane, unless we're barefoot on the earth itself. And so we've become so disconnected from earth. And that is our truth. Earth is our truth. We're born from earth. We haven't just landed here. And earth is our safety. Earth is our security. And all these other structures that have been embedded on top of, which we now feed as a way of security, aren't our truth. And it's these systems that will be falling down. So like I say, it could be from a very personal perspective on how you attach to other people or what you give security to. But, you're selling parts of yourself because of that. And equally, we see that in governance, that we give away our power, thinking that these governments have power over us, which keeps us resided in victim energy. And the only reason why they have governance is because we believe they have governance over us. So until we break that belief system, that will continue. But as soon as that tipping point of so many people recognize that they don't, that they're only in power because we believe that they have power over us, and when we shift that belief, things will change. And what is going on and the absurdity of war and fear and distraction, because there's so many untruths that are coming up. The darkness is coming up. And again, I remind you, the darkness is becoming up because the light is. The reason why it seems so dark is because there's so much more light on this planet. There's so many more people doing this work of themselves, of going through their shadows, working through that, alchemizing, they're integrating it, seeing it all. People, like, if you want to call light workers, doing this work. You've also got people who wouldn't even think about themselves like that are in these systems that are waking up and going, I can't not see this anymore. This isn't true. This isn't right. And so much truth is coming up. So there's be people in these organizations bringing them down that aren't serving the greater collective. And this is literally coming from the light of truth. Truth is like the sword-bearing light that's rising up from earth and literally cutting the crap. And this will feel hugely shocking for many. It's like our neural systems, I think Uranus is going through and it's Taurus, and we're just going through that final shift through. And it's this like huge wake up. It's a massive shock. And a lot of people that go in shock will probably go in very denial. They may even fawn even more. If you think about the nervous system, fight, flight, then you've got fawn, friend, and freeze. So if you think they can be hugely activated, imagine if you're just throwing so much shock at people, so much extreme stuff and fear and distraction and disillusion and everything else and chaos. You're calling people's nervous systems to shut down and to fawn and to collapse inwards. And so what we have to do is really recognize that is probably what the attempt is. And so how we can break those patterns is realizing that that isn't the truth. That isn't real. Yes, it may seem like it's happening in real time, but it isn't our truth of who we truly are. And so it's then whether we choose to see that activation, see that nervous, completely like shock, but how we can sit in it and simply be with it and go, okay, what is this showing me? How am I to grow from this? How am I supposed to be a sovereign being from this? So if I've given away through attachments to fear to different things, how do I become this sovereign being that's in one's own entirety, that isn't attached, and this isn't about sovereignty being completely separate beings, that we're not working together, completely the difference, but it's about self-containership. And then through resonance with others, we work together. This is the thing. We're having to really unpick all our attachments that we have, because attachments are fear. And it will feel completely discombobulating. I mean, I've been through it from my own different journey, and realizing how attached you can come to things for safety, because that's what you've needed. But you give away parts of yourself because of that. or you deny those parts of yourself because of that. And this may well be childhood patterning coming through. And so what I'm trying to share with this is that we'll all be going through this in our own way. We are being literally shaken, not stirred, shaken to wake up, to wake up to see literally out of soul amnesia, but to wake up where we play the game of avoidance, where we don't quite connect, where we don't listen to our truth, we don't listen to our desires or what we really, really want. We just kind of play along with life, and we deny so much of what we actually desire and what we want. So, all of these things will be coming up to question. And where do we give ourselves away for money? And where are we denying our joy? It's literally bringing everything else up for us to deal with and to address and to become the curious observer of self. This is really important to be able to see this. So when you realize, okay, I haven't acted in the best of intent, best way there, or I've avoided that and I've pushed somebody away because of this. As soon as you start taking responsibility, but with compassion and discernment, not judgment, you can hold that space. You can hold your entire space of self and go, I see what I'm doing here. Because a lot of times people will not want to take responsibility because they fear judgment, they fear punishment, isolation, rejection. This is like the sort of really core fears that we will carry, because rejection and pushing away would have meant we wouldn't have been able to survive. So we have to really just hold our entire self and go, what am I carrying? What beliefs am I doing? What are my actual choices here? Because our subconscious plays out for 98% of our daily action and thought. So is it really in tune to what we really desire? So these big questions we're going to have to be asking. And there's going to be a lot of people in their disillusionment that will still want to believe what they want to believe, because knowing the truth will be too much shock for them. And I don't quite know what's going to happen to them, to be honest with you. We'll just have to hold compassion for them, even though they can feel quite extreme. And, I keep having this flashing image of, I don't know what happened in the White House the other day, where they're just all praying around bloody orangutan. And in fact, that's an insult to orangutans. They're beautiful beings, just some fake tan twit that somehow has managed to take great place. But they're all praying around him. It's like some like religious like entity like Jesus. And it's like, how, one, that's just one big show, but a lot of people believe it. But again, this is the patterning that we have, is where do we give our sovereignty away? Who are we giving it away to? It's like the monarchy, thinking that these just people that have been born through blood are actually any different to us, common people. They're not. And they're just flesh and bone, just like ourselves, with a soul as well, but they're just exactly the same. So we give, and to famous people, to celebrities, like somehow we give them some precedence of who they are. They're not. And that stupid show in the White House, it's like, what is it that, why do we have this tendency to give away, like somehow that person's more power? We do it on a simple level, just one person to the next. We compare ourselves and often think, oh, they're better than I. This is all up to be seen for what it is. And for me, this goes right back to 12,000 years ago, where this was shown to me very recently, where a frequency would have been held on this planet, like high beings, highly connected, We're holding this Sophia light. This is for me. This is the light that runs through our cells and runs through our bodies, that holds us, that created us, the Mother of God. She is the all creation that runs through all of us. This light, this consciousness runs through the waters of our body. It even runs through water itself. And this frequency was held by what we call the Magi. I think they call them Magi. And the power became so great that the ego said, this is my power, and turned their backs on Sophia, where everybody was accessing at one point together as one in circle. But they turned their backs and said, you access the heart of source through me, through us. And that turning of the back and people believing that and giving their power to those became what created this matrix in itself, where the belief that we can't access our true source has to come through something else, that we can't meet our true power unless it's through someone else. And this is what feeds off and creates. So this is literally coming right back to the systems that we've got that feeds off us, the belief that this governance and this sovereign, this empowerment, that somehow we access this through that. And it could even be thinking we access happiness through money. All these different things that we have to realize is like we have sold parts of ourselves or lost parts of ourselves because we believe we can only access it through this, through religion, through church, through, through governance. It's just all of this and popularity and, and nobody is greater than anyone else. We're not. It's as simple as that. And we access the heart of source through our own hearts. And this is why I call it this massive heart awakening, because this is about realizing our truth and knowing that this is the heart of discernment. This is the truth. This is what is pure within us. And I've seen this, that it's pure, pure light that goes deep with it. A heart is more than a pump. It's a magnetic field that grounds us here. It's a torus field that holds us both soul and spirit together. It is not a pump. It's this Fibonacci sequence of power that holds us into this space of where we are. And this is waking up and it's bringing up our truths, and our nervous systems are going holy fuck right now. And we have to really, when we feel the fear, just be with it rather than act on it. Just sit with it, breathe with it, hold space for it and go, what is this trying to show me? Rather than responding from an emotional, that then your emotions then create the goes back to the brain, and then you just create this cycle of this loop where it goes, well, this must be my truth because I can feel it now. And so the breaking of the pattern is literally when you become conscious of the thought. And if you do go into the motion, you can go, okay, I need to breathe and come back to myself. Why am I feeling like this? What's going through my body? Come into your heart, find your axis, find your peace that's already within you. And meditation and breath and being out in nature and getting your feet on the ground will be so important. But also just cutting off from the outer world. Stop thinking that you have to know everything that's going on. That's not making you feel any more in control. And it doesn't mean you're being naive or whatever you want to tell yourself. You don't have to know. Because the only way you can influence the outer world is through your inner world. And so if your inner world is completely chaotic and lack of peace, then so will the outer world be. The outer world is reflecting our inner world. And so we have to be the discernment of what's going on in our inner world. And doom scrolling, looking at watching all the news and, just take time out. We are wholly overwhelmed and overstimulated. We've got blue light, we've got all the scrolling, we've got too much and the brain cannot compute. And so we have to decompress. And this is like switching off from the greater world. And also putting in energetic boundaries, especially for those that are really sensitive and empaths. You'll be tuning into this collective fear right now. That will be feeding into your system. So you might be feeling even more overwhelmed and anxious than normal, thinking, but I don't know why. It's like because this collective field is getting hugely highly wired. And so we have to really discern, well, is this mine? Is this something else? And we have to practice that every day. These energetic, like just tuning in like a white bubble of light in you and just going, right, okay, thank you for discerning what is mine, what is not. Thank you for discerning what is pure, love, joy, and peace, and what is not. And you have to tune in like you would be doing brushing your teeth every day to keep your energetic fields clear. Because sooner it just become like massive dust and you're just collecting everything and then you don't even know what is yours and what is not, and it becomes too overwhelming. So I'd really look at doing a declutter, clearing, protecting your energy through what's going on, and tune into yourself, your energy fields, and give yourself that compassion and know that everything that's coming up is happening for you, not to you. And then when you recognize that for you, not to you, it takes you out of victim energy and then it brings you to empowerment. It brings you into consciousness, into choice, into awareness. And these are massive shifts of energy. Just got to hear that, oh, it's happening to me. It's happening for me. Just feel the difference in the shift that it does in your body as I say that. And so all I can say is hold some real compassion for yourself and really be discerning with what is yours and what is not. Get into regular practice of your energy fields with this and know that if it's fear, it's not your truth. And you may have to keep sitting and asking those questions. Yeah, why am I feeling this? What, keep going through the layers and you'll recognize where it's coming from. But also, if you're in that flux, I love these affirmations that I do is I choose love, I choose joy, and I choose peace. I'm worthy of love, I'm worthy of joy, and I'm worthy of peace. And I am love, and I am joy, and I am peace. And I repeat, repeat, repeat. And I have been on the floor wanting the earth to just swallow me up. And I recited those words. And within 5 minutes, I'm stood up thinking, what was all that about? This is how powerful you are. When you say, I choose, your brain's going, well, okay, we're going for that then. So you're breaking the pattern. And this is how powerful we are. And I'm pretty sure those powers to be that own our media and everything else know how powerful we are, but keep that to themselves, but manipulate our minds of fear and separation. So we create what we don't want. We see things, we look at things, we fear it, we talk about it, and through our attention, we are creating it. So we're actually creating what we don't want. So we need to really focus on what we do want, okay? And that is the fundamental thing that we need to be doing, discerning what is ours, clearing our energy fields, and really starting to make conscious choices of what we actually want. And I can tell you this, the truth, that you are love, you are joy, you are peace. That is your entire being. That is your truth. And that is what is coming to the surface. So all the time that you're feeling like you're breaking down, you're breaking free. You're shifting your shite. You're not losing it. There's so many things that are happening for you to understand yourself on a deeper, deeper level and to know thyself. And this is what we're here to do, to become these sovereign beings who we actually are and to remember that. So our healing journey is remembrance. It's not about fixing, and everything you need is already within you. I mean, I do this in work with my clinic. It's like, oh, how do you want to feel? What's your intention? And they often say lighter or freer or calm. And I say, okay, how does that feel? And they go deep in the body and they can feel it. And I go, it's already there. It's something you don't have to attain. It's already there. And there's the awareness and the awakening and of that. It's like, Holy shit, it is. It's already in me. Now my journey is just releasing whatever is resisting that. And then with resistance and acceptance of resistance, resistance cannot exist. And this is the power that we have and how we can shift things. And so I want to leave it on that note, is that even though you may feel like everything feels like it's falling apart, you're breaking free, you're shifting your shine. And actually, when you start to choose you and create space for yourself, which you'll have to, otherwise your body will make sure that you find space. It will stop you. That's what it does. It will show you little white flags. And if you don't listen, it will show you a red flag and it will make you have to stop. Whether it's through pain, whether it's through disease, it will make you stop. And for you to really start to listen. Okay, this is what love to heal is about, the listen, observe. And then through visualization, you create the neuroplasticity, what you desire, and then thus you become empowered. This is about becoming the curious observer of self without the judgment, and then to be able to shift and choose to move to what you actually desire. So, thank you for listening, beautiful souls. Know that you are a powerful, amazing being that's got everything inside you already that you need. What you need to do is just a key to unlock your magnificence that's already within you. And whatever resistance that comes up for me saying these words to you right now, know that that's gold in itself because it's shown you the resistance to what you desire. You may have listened to that and thought, hell yeah, I am great. But others will go, oh no, that sounds like a load of mumbo jumbo. Because they've been told that they're not that. And so again, another avoidance piece. So this is where the gold comes from, being able to just observe self. When you feel the resistance, rather than resist the resistance, be with it. Because resistance cannot exist in acceptance. And this is when we start to unpeel these layers and really remember the amazing, bloody, powerful being that you and I and everyone else on this planet is when they choose to. All right. Lots of love. And if you want to know more about Love to Heal, there'll be a link here, and talk to me. Take care.